it has really helped me to stop, and I find I don't react so much anymore to situations.
That is great.
I'll sit back and I'll think about it, take a few breaths, and just how can we work this out, without getting too much into your head. And
welcome to my podcast, Tanya Corless Podcast. So today we talk about health again, mental again. But I have a guest, Cecilia. She's a yoga instructor. Cecilia, welcome. Please tell about yourself.
Thank you. My name is Cecilia Moran, and I'm from Wellness with Cecilia. I'm a yoga teacher, breathwork practitioner, and I'm also a holistic therapist. I do massage, Reiki, and breathwork sessions.
So tell me, what are you doing? I know you do an yoga instruction.
Yes. So I'm a yoga teacher, teaching yoga now for 2 years. In the past, I've been a fitness instructor, so I have a good background and knowledge of the body and how it works and everything else. So during COVID, I actually did my training in yoga teaching.
Done.
Yeah.
So it's because you had plenty of time, or because you were thinking about it to do before and never had a chance?
Well, yes, I've always wanted to do it. I've always practiced yoga. So I had a lot of time during COVID, so it seemed like the right time. And it was a great experience training in yoga.
Oh, well done. So you completely moved from being just whatever. What classes did you do? Did you need Pilates or?
I taught fitness classes, so aerobics, step, aerobics, and so on.
So, and from this part, you completely moved to yoga. You're not doing this as
no, not
anymore.
Doing that anymore. Neither.
And from your professional point of view, and personal maybe too, did you come across some people who will sign up to come to do the classes with you, and then they will complaining about a mental issue or any kind of health condition that you can understand that you're able to help them?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people come for that reason, that they're stressed, or they might have an issue with some area of the body that they're trying to work out. And with yoga, as you're aware, like it's a lot of poses, and it's not so much just a stretch, it's poses, but you're bringing breathing into it, which helps you to relax the body into, particular poses that will help with issues in the joints and so on. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely brilliant. So when people like that who will come suffering from some mental issue, if you know any of them, so how long do you think they need to take the course with you, example?
Yeah.
Would be 1 day, 3 days, whatever, every day in a week, or then 1 month, 1 week. How long do you think it would be necessarily to attend to start feeling improvements?
Yeah, so most people sign up for a 6-week block of a course.
Is what you recommended?
I would recommend. When people contact me in the beginning, I'd always say to them, come in and do a drop-in class and see how you feel, see if it's the right fit for you. Do you know? My classes involve relaxation. At the beginning, we do a grounding, a lot of breathing techniques, and then we go into the yoga itself. And at the end, then we do what's called a shavasana. So that's the relaxation part where you completely zone out and just allow your body to relax. So when people experience it, then they realize, okay, it's not what they thought it was, because a lot of people are under the impression that it's just stretch and getting into awkward positions and so on, which it's not. It's allowing the body to relax into poses.
Would you say you will allow your body to relax just because you start control your mind?
Yeah.
Because you need to focus what you're thinking, what you're feeling. And if you're doing stretch one another way, to keep this posture, so you have to work with your brain to focus what you're doing physically. Is this correct?
Yes, but I would say it's not so much about forcing yourself to concentrate.
Yes.
A lot of the time I would ask people to just relax into their body and not to worry so much about getting the pose correct. It's about using the breath and feeling good in your body. And about not having too much expectation on themselves, because it's a gradual process.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a gradual process.
So, and did you have maybe already collaborate with somebody? Would you give an example, if you do, collaboration with any maybe doctors, maybe with nurses, with anybody who will do traditional medical support, from any field?
Yeah.
Do you have any experience like that?
I have had people that have been recommended by their doctor to come
Okay.
to yoga. So that's a good thing that doctors are recommending it now.
Recognize that, yeah.
Yes. And if I feel, if I have a client and I feel that there's an issue that I can't help with, that maybe they do need that extra bit of help, I will recommend them maybe to an alternative therapy, maybe to like acupuncture, or maybe they do need to go to the doctor, if something's not, maybe their knee or something like that that's not improving over time, then I would say maybe just get it checked out,
Okay, so, and you will be sending them back to GP, or you'll recommend to go maybe some consultant who specializes in particular, mental, maybe psychologist, maybe, I don't know who else will be able to help, and that sports particularly.
Yeah. So some people would find they get very emotional maybe during a yoga session. It can happen. It has happened.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're going very deep. You're coming into your body. It's more like we live in the conscious mind all day long. We're running and racing, and we're doing, and we never stop to go deeper into the subconscious and to let our body talk, let our body breathe, to allow ourselves to stop. So when people get into a really relaxed state, I've had people, especially during the Shavasana, the relaxation, that they're relaxing so much, the tears start to come. They start to, it's like a healing process. Like
that is
yoga,
fantastic.
yoga. It's like a healing process in a sense, and when you've never given your body that time. But if somebody, I haven't had any major issues, maybe a release like that, and someone will have the tears and they're not sure what's wrong, and they'll run off and then text me afterwards and go, oh my God, I was so embarrassed, I started to cry. And I was like, that's normal, it's a release. That's good. You're listening to your body, you're allowing the emotions to come up. But I think if I did have someone that needed to maybe go for counselling or something like that, that I would advise them,
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I was thinking that yoga can create this kind of such emotion while the classes. Do you know why? Because I was trying to do yoga classes myself, but probably I didn't have enough patience to continue. I'm looking for maybe bigger result, or maybe I never follow properly instruction or whatever advice. But I realized that maybe I love to learn, to be honest, and not give up.
Yeah.
But I realized I need maybe more, more time for doing that and be focused on particular what I'm doing. I'm not in the sport, maybe never been.
Yeah.
So, but I do understand what you're saying. It's the way how you relax. That's why you relieve not only the body tense, you relieve the emotions and you let this go. That's why you're able to maybe the people start crying, the way how they completely release all the stress they had behind.
Yeah, so yoga, it's more about mind and body, and, it can be spiritually, emotionally. It brings in all areas.
All areas together,
Yeah.
So, okay, do you do classes only, for example, in the studio, whatever you're renting out, or you? But would you recommend, or maybe you practicing this as well, to bring people outside and to do these yoga classes? If a lovely, fantastic, warm, nice, not rainy day, to be outside, as will help to maybe relax more and get more benefit out of that, as fresh air do.
Yes, I have done. I was part of South Dublin partnership, sports partnership, over the last 2 years during the summers, teaching in Corkick Park and places like that. During the summer of an evening we do it, and people love coming out into nature to do the yoga. I also put one on in my local area, Newbridge Linear Park, where we did a free yoga session for people to come on a Sunday. We have another event. When I say we, I work from Balanced Bodies in Newbridge. And two of us yoga teachers came together and we did a practice together in the park.
Well done.
This year we're doing different times. It's on the June Bank Holiday weekend on the Sunday, and I will be doing 11 to 12 in the park, and it's going to be a fundraiser this time.
Okay, well done. This is fantastic. And fundraising for what? Who you support?
So for Gaza this time.
Okay. That's very good. Everybody talking now about a lot of things, but sometimes for catches, people need help there as well.
And it is nice because you're bringing in the senses when you're outside as well. When you're in a room, in a studio, you will generally burn incense or have oils or things like that. Whereas outdoor, you've the nature around you, you've the smells of nature, you've the birds singing.
It's give you more benefit from be more relaxed and fantastic. My next question would be, when you collaborate with this association, right, would you do yoga fundraising only in Newbridge, or you will be in Dublin or all around Ireland? How does it work?
Yeah, so I practice, I teach my classes in Balanced Bodies in Newbridge on a Thursday evening and a Saturday morning. On a Wednesday evening, I teach in a place called The Art in Kilmead, near Athy. So it's within a garden. It's like a big marquee, and it's a beautiful setting, And then I do a few corporate yogas where I go into the business and I teach yoga for the staff. Like this morning, that's where I was. I was 7:30 teaching yoga for the staff before they start work. And I do another one on a Wednesday afternoon at 12:30. And so that's quite good.
That is magnificent. Well done. So would you recognize that since you start doing yoga for yourself at the beginning and then you start teaching other, would you say that your life has changed?
Oh, completely. Yoga definitely.
Which way?
I would say it changes your life. It has helped me to slow down. I would always been the type of person to be the go-getter, running, racing, and I want everything now.
Like
and but it's just one of those things, and it's built into you. So it's helped me to slow down, and everything will come anyway.
Okay.
It won't pass you by. It comes to you anyway. So I think it has really helped me to stop, and I find I don't react so much anymore to situations.
That is great.
I'll sit back and I'll think about it, take a few breaths, and just how can we work this out, without getting too much into your head. And
So would you then give advice for people who are not practicing yet yoga, but maybe they think in their lifestyle it's too busy to, as you said, you race to something after something. So would you say before you do any step in your life, you have to pull yourself back, maybe even do one step backwards and sit down, take a breath, and then thinking. And only after that you start movement.
Yes, absolutely.
Or maybe you have any other advices.
I think when people don't have enough time, it's important to use their breath. The breath is the most important thing, I would say.
Why do you think?
Because within 3 breaths you can bring yourself.
Just not able to listen your own body.
You can ground yourself, even if you're having a really busy day and you need to just get away from everything for that minute and sit down. Once you take 3 deep breaths, you're sending messages to the central nervous system, and it's helping you to relax. And then you can think properly then. So I would always say to people, if you don't have time to do anything else, just do a little breathing technique, or sit with yourself for a few minutes and with nothing. Turn off the phone, or just allow yourself.
Nowadays people probably maybe some of them start thinking that way, that you're practicing and to deliver to other ones, but at the same time, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, what I can see on the social media for a friend of mine, if the mothers especially, when they're stressful, they try to have a glass of vino at the end of the day. What is actually acceptable, normal, absolutely fine. Some of them just will be the same as me, to be honest, sitting on the phone. You're thinking you relieve your brain, but unfortunately, you might be naturally relieve your brain of thinking. You start thinking more because amount of information while you're scrolling your phone goes through your head. It's just occupies you more, and you're overthinking, and that's why you can't sometimes fall asleep, or after even you feeling at that moment relief, in a few hours after you more hyper. Would you say that actually it's affected?
Yeah, I think like we're all guilty of it, at some point or another.
Human.
And it's human nature. But what we're doing then by picking up the phone is, as you say, the mind it's going to make the mind race more, and you compare yourself to your phone and what's going on in other people's lives. And whereas with yoga, you see, that's what's helped me to become more in my body, in myself, and not to worry about what's going on in the outside world. Do you know what I mean? It's not about what everybody else is doing. It's how you feel.
That is true. That is true. But see what I'm trying to just explain. People, when you're feeling under the pressure, when you're feeling maybe a little bit at heart, or you're just, oh my God, it's too much going on in my life, in my head. Don't try to go and get a glass of wine at the beginning. Maybe after it'll help you. But try to take it at the two, one breath, another breath, and then thinking what you have to do, how you have to do. And then maybe when you make a conclusion, then you can let yourself relive with a glass of vino or whatever else you like it, sushi bar or something. So, but how you think nowadays you can encourage people to follow that direction, nature direction, as learn how to listen to your own body, learn how to your body respond on what's going on. As you said, when you're busy, you can't even feel what's going on.
So I think it's important that when you feel that rush to go for the wine or the social media or whatever it is, that you almost, even to write it in your diary or in your
that's actually
on your fridge, sit and breathe. And just give yourself a couple of minutes. And if you practice this every day, then it becomes a good habit. And your mindset changes. That's great,
actually. Advice, well done,
Yeah, your mindset changes. If you schedule in that little bit of time, you mightn't be able to make it to a yoga class every week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even to schedule in that little bit of breathing time for yourself, away from everything, away from social media, and you can be anywhere. You can be... you could be sitting,
at work,
you could
in
be,
the car.
You could be, maybe not in the car.
It's a good idea. Don't follow
maybe not
advice.
driving. Maybe sitting on the Lewis or on the train.
When you're not,
when you
concentrate.
But just, you can plug in your earbuds and just, take them few minutes and
to relax.
Yeah.
So you never finish actually about how the yoga changed your life when you start practicing.
Okay.
So you said you start maybe from the very Russian lifestyle, you start maybe come down and lay back, whatever, and take a few steps before we move forward. So how else?
So I suppose the yoga training itself was a huge shift for me, and a lot of stuff came up that it was deep rooted, and I felt a lot of release. And like what I would experience now when I have students that would get that little bit of a release and the tears come or whatever it might be. It doesn't always happen. Some people are laughing, it's fine. But, I would say that was the beginning of it. And I knew, God, this is deeper than I even think, deeper than what I imagined. And then, now it wasn't straight away I started to teach the classes. It took me a while to get to that point where I was, comfortable enough and in the right position. And I just booked a 6-week block. So it helps me to stop, because I have to, I would be preparing classes, and then while you're doing the practice yourself, you can feel it in yourself. And also it stops me from, going for the wine or whatever it might be. I'll think, is that going to help me? Obviously, now and again, that's fine. But, it's like, it helps me to think, what would I feel better after doing, and I know the yoga will make me feel better. The breathing, even.
Long-lasting effect.
Long-lasting effect, yeah. And then it's okay maybe to have that glass of wine or whatever. But, and I trained in breathwork as well. So that's another thing that's become very big recently. And I'm holding breathwork classes. So that's become another part of my practice as well that I would,
doing as well. But could you maybe again look at what you're doing and explain which practice or technique of yoga that you're practicing yourself will be better for their mental health, or people who are suffering with all kind of stagnation. They're completely lost in their life. Let's keep them together. Which one, if you can any describe?
So
all of them will be fine. So it's better.
I wouldn't say it's one specific thing, but as I said, the breathing is important. In yoga, we call it pranayama, so it's life force energy, and that's what it is. It's even, as I said, to just take those few minutes and to practice the breathing. The asanas, like let's say, for example, just getting on the mat and doing a few movements like sun salutations and things like that, and it only takes a couple of minutes. And it literally is, saluting to the sun. It's bringing up your mood. It's, it's helping you to
lift up,
to rise, to lift yourself up. Yeah. I'm probably veering off the question again, am I? Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I keep doing that.
No, that's fantastic. So basically, doesn't matter what condition you are. So whatever reason you came to do yoga classes, it's important to start from the beginning, learn how to breathe.
Breathe is huge.
And then based on the practice, whatever, how much time you have to invest in that, you will feel benefits.
Yes.
And relaxation. And even people who are suffering, and because I understand people who are suffering from like any mental issue. I'm talking about, don't go for deep depression, very common nowadays. Anxiety, very common nowadays.
Yes.
And people sometimes confused, and they don't feel well, and they can't describe themselves what's going on. I can say I'm feeling this, but I don't know why. So then eventually, doctor will explain them is ABC happened. That's why you have such and such symptoms. So for people who have such and such symptoms, it will help them to do any yoga classes. It doesn't matter what technique, what practice they're using. Start from the beginning. And just try to enjoy yourself. Try to understand that you need to invest your time sometimes for yourself. And then they maybe will able, if I'm right, understand. So the question then, it would be right, it's help them to see the way out from the way how they're feeling at the moment. The way how I'm seeing.
Yes.
But maybe you can see it differently because you're dealing with them all the time.
So
not all the people who has the issues. No. Because the people who might have those issues.
Well, we all.
You can see all of them. I agree.
Do. And at some point or another, you need something. I've had people that have come to one-to-one sessions because of their anxiety, and they don't feel confident enough to come into a class with other people. So that might be a good way of starting off, if people are anxious, nervous, suffer from anxiety, or even just don't want to be in a room full of people. So a one-to-one is a good way to approach it. And because it's one-to-one, you're learning for you, and I give the person either the notes afterwards or maybe record the session, and they can have the recording and they can practice themselves then until they feel confident enough to do a class. It builds them up, it helps them. And everyone's different. I always speak these things during a class. I always say, don't compare yourself. Your body's different. You're not going to look the same as the person next to you. So, just feel good in your body.
And your own abilities.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
So it definitely would help with anxiety and helps you to slow yourself right down. The mind especially.
The mind especially, truly. What I'm trying to deliver to our audience, that people who, doesn't matter what condition, or you just a person who try to do and change something in your life, you can start doing yoga. And then you can bring your friends and do it all together, even if you're not going to the class. But would you do any online classes, or it's not very popular for yoga?
Yeah, it's something I am hoping to start soon. I had promised myself I'd be started by now, but it hasn't actually happened. So yes, I am hoping to do, because there are some people who it suits them better at home. They can't get away with kids or whatever, or they feel comfortable at home. So yeah, it's definitely something that will happen in the future.
But would people have the same vibe when you're doing,
Yeah, it's...
Because I always believe that when people gathering together and doing the same thing, they're create this atmosphere, energy is around there. Class would be different compared if you're doing the same.
Yeah, that can be true. But like I did my training online and it was amazing. Like there was still
so
a
still
lot
working,
of energy.
so
It can
that's
still
fine,
work. It won't be the same, but it you know, can work for some people. Some people prefer that.
Okay.
And I think it's important to try out, like if you try a yoga class, and some people have said to me, I didn't like it. I don't like yoga. I did it once and I was like, but what did you do? What kind of a class was it? You know, maybe that wasn't the right class for them. And maybe my class might be not the right class for somebody. Do you know that you have to try out and you have to be able to gel with the instructor? Do you know, it has to be right, it has to feel right for you. So it's always good to try a class out first and see if it, you know, works for you.
Okay, that is fantastic, to be honest. Anyway, so you doing for last few years the yoga. You said your life has changed.
Yeah.
So you can see some beneficial for people who are regularly attending your classes.
Yes.
What you would say if youngish, not youngish, I would say teenagers age group will knock to the door and say, okay, we would like to try yoga. But you know the teenagers, they're so specific group of people, I would call. So how you'll approach them, how you will deliver that message is maybe it's a good things for you, but you need to try how you'll be keep them in, how you will.
Yeah.
Or if maybe you didn't have this experience.
Yeah. So I do, like, one of the women that comes to my yoga, she brought her daughter and she has come a few times and has enjoyed the classes. So I would speak in the same way, you know, I would take the same class. Maybe if it was a group of teenagers, yes, obviously it's slightly different and you would veer it towards what their, you know, interests are. Because I think teenagers, some may be more interested in toning and maybe, you know, making it a little bit more movement and things like that. So
more active, like
more active, yes. So you can do a very active class, you know. So
yoga
it might
can
change.
Be active.
It can be very active.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow.
It can be. It can be what you want it to be. Do you know? So I have a beginners class, improvers class, restorative yoga, which is a really relaxing one. So there's lots of different types, you know. And once you explain what you want, then I can put you into the class, deliver to you what you need.
What specifically for the teenagers? Doesn't matter, boys, girls. Which kind of type of class would be more you'll recommend to go and start with?
Yeah, so I think what's important is how you speak within a class. I talk my way through the class, obviously given direction, and I think it would be about building up confidence and self-assurance. And you can bring that in through, you know, affirmations during your Shavasana. You can, and especially at the beginning during the grounding, we do a little grounding exercise at the beginning of every class, and with the breath, I will talk them through it. So I think it might be slightly different for a teenager because you want to tell them what they want to hear.
That's true as well.
You know, you'd kind of bring yourself back to how you felt. What did you want to hear when you were a teenager? And what kind of things clicked with you? So I think,
Okay, so do you have any story to share, maybe anecdote that has happened during the class or after class that would be very, from one side it's a funny story maybe, from another side, depending how you look at the story, it would be maybe a good example how need to do or how don't need to do.
Yeah. Okay, so I would say I think more so on the release side of things like that. As I said, I've had a couple of people, and one in particular, like I explained earlier, this lady had joined my class and it was her first class to do, and obviously didn't know what to expect, hadn't done yoga before, and we did the grounding, the breathing techniques, and we went into our poses and did our full class, and at the end then we do our Shavasana. And like I said, she completely relaxed and I talked them into a meditation and people just completely zone out. But like that, she was overcome with tears and she literally got up, ran out of the class and texted me afterwards because she was embarrassed and she, I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened to me. I started crying, and she said, like, she was talking to her friends afterwards and she said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I was crying in yoga. Like, this is, and when I explained to her that this is normal, this is because yoga, you're releasing. You know, you're letting go of stuff that it comes up, and so that was one of the things that happened. And then I have a guy in one of the classes, and he's just mesmerized because now he's able to touch his toes where he never
fantastic.
could. So there's little things like that, you know, little things like that. People, you know, because we can do basic classes, but we also sometimes go into like arm balances, headstands, you know, things like that. And some people are very adventurous and they'll give them a go. And so things like that. It can be funny, you know, because we're all having fun together in that part of the class. So don't have any particular story.
But anyway, that is enough stories to explain. But would you say you have more women or men who are in the class?
Yeah, I do have more women in the class, but there are men in most of the classes. In my restorative yoga, actually, I have an equal amount of men to women. Okay. And restorative yoga is more about relaxing and allowing the nervous system to come back down. And, you know, if you have a really busy, stressful life, it helps you to completely relax and zone out. Yeah.
So I was confused. You have equal men and women.
Yeah.
Or now you have more tendency men attending more or women more.
Yeah. So in the restorative, there's equal amount of men in that particular class. But with my general classes, it's mainly women, and there's a few men.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so would you say depend of the time of the day, it will be again more women because they have maybe more time after drop the kids at school, or maybe they start their work a little bit later, or you have in the evening classes, which classes will be more attended? Like, doesn't matter, men, women, so full classes, but mostly you have evenings or morning times.
Evenings seem to work really well. I'm starting a new class next Wednesday, and it's a morning class, so that'll be interesting to see because I do one morning and it's a Saturday morning, and that would have been my first class, and that's a busy one. People love to get up, do it, and I know that other people have said, no way, I'm not getting out of bed for 8:30 in the morning, but it gets you set up for the weekend, set up for the day.
Yeah, actually, my personal, to be honest, I like to do in the morning, but sometimes it's hard to get up.
Yes.
If you didn't sleep well with a small baby and whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's
evenings do, but evening depends. Like I'm personally thinking about that, like which classes I'll be go. Yeah, yourself, and just try to see. Not saying what to do. I'm just trying to
of course.
put myself in the shoe and think which way will be work for me, and I believe it will be working maybe for the most of people, because if you have your family, kids, work, you need to fit yourself in all the schedule and be able to juggle very well. Otherwise, everything would be work for you. What about lunchtime classes? Do you do any, or it's not popular at all?
I do one lunchtime class, and that's a corporate one on a Wednesday at 12:30, and go into the company and teach. Yeah, they can be 45-minute classes. They don't necessarily have to be a full hour. If the work, they can't commit to a full hour.
So which, how long it's better? It's for half an hour, 45, or an hour, which period of time?
Well, I always prefer the full hour because you get so much more out of it, and you get but obviously, I mean, half an hour, you could do a half an hour class. It still
will do the job.
It still will, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
half an hour practice is as good as
that is fantastic, brilliant. Cecilia, thank you very much for being my guest, and I had a lovely conversation with you. I believe my audience learned a lot of things out of your stories, and what I'm trying to deliver, to be honest, that is most important in our lives, to focus on yourself. Start learning how your body reacts, what you want, not because what somebody wants. Don't look at, as you said, at other ones, because we all different, and we have different capabilities, life needs. Don't try to replace somebody's needs for your own needs. Listen to yourself. If you need classes, welcome. Cecilia, tell again where you're located, at people who like to
I'm
contact
located
you.
in Newbridge. You can find me, my website is wellnesswithcecilia.ie, and you can find me in Balanced Bodies, and I do some workshops in Luna Yoga in Kildare as well.
Oh, fantastic then.
Yes.
Please follow.
I'm on Instagram, so
Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much.